Welcome back. Today's explainer is an absolute game changer, and I'm super excited to get into it because we're tackling a massive, everyday problem and looking at a genuinely brilliant solution. We're talking about food waste. And to put the sheer scale of this into perspective, traditional food waste disposal isn't just about dealing with overflowing, smelly dumpsters. As that waste breaks down in landfills, it actually off-gasses massive amounts of methane, which, is a greenhouse gas way more potent than carbon dioxide. But today, we're not just talking about getting rid of trash. We're looking at how to completely transform your everyday messy food waste into a highly valuable, perfectly trackable corporate ESG asset. It's a total paradigm shift, so let's get right to it. So here is the core challenge we're unpacking today. On one hand, you've got the physical reality of commercial food waste. Let's face it, it's heavy, it's wet, it takes up a ton of space, and managing it is just notoriously messy. But then, on the other hand, you have the corporate boardroom, right? And they are facing this massive growing enterprise pressure for strict, verifiable ESG compliance. Environmental, social, and governance metrics, they aren't just trendy buzzwords anymore, they are literal financial imperatives. So the big question is, how do we actually bridge the gap between that chaotic wet kitchen trash and a pristine boardroom-ready sustainability report? Okay, let's dive into this. To handle commercial volume, you'd probably picture a massive, ugly industrial dumpster, right? But look at this instead. These sleek YJT hardware units actually blend seamlessly right into the aesthetic of a high-end, brick-walled cafe, or they just sit quietly next to the display cases in a bustling cafeteria. It instantly solves that physical waste problem right at the source without disrupting daily operations or ruining the vibe for customers. But honestly, that sleek exterior design is really just the beginning of the story here.
All right, moving to section 1, the solution, intelligent AIoT hardware.
So to really grasp how this works, we've got to stop thinking of this thing as a simple disposal bin. It's actually a smart, automated ESG data engine powered by AIoT. The artificial intelligence of things. And it does this with a remarkably compact footprint. It's just 720 millimeters high, 330 millimeters wide, and 390 millimeters deep. But the invisible intelligence packed inside that small metal box is what truly drives enterprise-level sustainability. Let's take a look at the actual data it's actively processing.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the sheer depth of the real-time diagnostics being run. This isn't just about checking if the machine is turned on. This is literally about carbon credit recycling. The equipment utilizes AIoT sensors to constantly read the moisture content of the food waste. By monitoring the real-time weight loss as that moisture evaporates, while tracking exact data points like a heating plate temperature sitting at 38 degrees Celsius, it automatically judges the absolute perfect timing for its power usage. And that brings us to the core of the whole thing, achieving the maximum ESG spirit. Because the system automatically adjusts its power draw based on that real-time moisture content we just talked about, it actively prevents wasted electricity. It guarantees that the very process of reducing your carbon footprint is, in itself, entirely green and incredibly energy efficient. I mean, you definitely don't want to burn excess fossil fuels just to get rid of an apple core, right? Which leads us nicely into section 2, the proof, cloud data, and carbon tracking. Okay, so we've established how the physical hardware uses intelligent sensors to process waste efficiently. But how does a restaurant manager or a corporate sustainability officer actually use this stuff? Well, it translates directly into numbers like 2981.64. And this is not just some random metric, folks. This is a massive corporate victory. This represents the exact amount in kilograms of carbon emissions saved. This is the hard, verifiable data that modern ESG reporting absolutely demands. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly where that victory comes from, straight from the YJT Cloud dashboard. Seeing nearly 3,000 kilograms of saved carbon contextualized right next to the 4,200 kilograms of processed waste proves the complete equation. It factors in the exact hours run and the precise power consumption. It shows how daily, scattered food waste undeniably converts into a clear, trackable carbon reduction metric that you can basically slap right into an annual report. Because, let's be real, if an auditor comes knocking, you need the receipts, right? Well, here they are. This data perfectly distills the complex system logs happening behind the scenes. You can see the exact relationship for every single cycle, the specific input weight down to the gram, what the final output weight was after the moisture was intelligently removed, and the exact processing time. Take that bottom row, for example, reducing 5.26 kilos down to barely half a kilo in 8 hours and 15 minutes. This proves the machine's reliable, transparently logged efficiency. No guesswork at all, just solid data. All right, let's zoom out for section 3, the takeaway, enterprise impact. We've seen the hardware, we've verified the data. Now, let's look at the big picture. If you're a corporate sustainability officer juggling dozens of branch locations, you absolutely need enterprise-level control. Through this unified headquarters management view, you can access a drop-down list of multiple branches, different neighborhoods, different testing sites, and use real-time map tracking to see exactly where your active and standby units are located geographically. The brilliance here is that headquarters can oversee every single branch's performance from one interface, while individual store managers only see their own specific equipment. It is top-down organized ESG management at its finest. So, to wrap up the core takeaways today, this AIoT system empowers companies in 4 massive ways. First, you get a unified headquarters dashboard to monitor everything. Second, real-time multi-branch tracking so you never lose sight of your assets. Third, you generate daily waste volume analytics, which actually helps refine your purchasing and reduce waste before it even happens. And finally, you get those verifiable monthly carbon reductions. You are literally turning scattered, messy daily food waste into a unified, unendurable corporate asset for your entire enterprise. I want to leave you with one final thought to ponder. We've seen how the technology exists right now to completely flip the script on food waste. So the question remains, is your business ready to transform daily waste into its most trackable sustainability asset? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep learning, keep optimizing, and I'll see you next time.